Time for the Roundball Roundup Camdenton Laker basketball show from the Funky Buffalo. And now your hosts, William Holtz and Ron Dugan.
Here on Lake TV, it's the Roundball Roundup brought to you by Surf Pro Lake of the Ozarks. I'm William Holtz, joined by my co-host, Ron Dugan. Ron, nice to be back at it.
It is nice to be back at it. You know, kids are out of school, but basketball was still going on with the blue and gold and the pink and white. We're looking forward to talking about those tournaments.
Yeah, a couple of big tournaments. We're going to recap those when we come back. This is your Week 4 edition. We'll talk about those games. We'll talk with head women's coach Sophie Caffey, and we'll also talk with star of the Elias game. That's the women's player Sophie Shore. She'll join us on Set That and much more on the Roundball Roundup right after this. Camdenton Laker fans, want to catch the latest highlights, updates, and analysis on your Lakers men's and women's basketball teams? You want to watch exclusive coaches and player interviews? Then tune in to Lake TV and join me and Ron Dugan for the Roundball Roundup every day at 12:30 and 6 p.m. for an action-packed 30 minutes of nothing but Lakers basketball. And if you can't catch the show on TV, just email me at the email address on your screen with a subject line of Roundball Roundup email list, and I'll personally email you the newest episode every Thursday afternoon.
From residential to commercial, from large loss to emergency response. Whenever damage strikes, call on the cleanup team that's faster to any size disaster at 1-800-SERVE-PRO, like it never even happened.
Lake TV and LakeExpo.com are bringing the community closer together with the Lake of the Ozarks news update, keeping you up to date on recent developments and upcoming events. Watch it every weekday on Lake TV or on the web at MyLakeTV.com.
Back here on the Roundball Roundup, and it's time to talk about the guys team. They were in Springfield over the break for a prestigious tournament they play in every year, and Ron actually had an opportunity to go to a couple of those games. And Ron, what did you see at that tournament?
You know, it is a really great tournament, and it's the Lakers have been in it for a number of years, and you know, they weren't seeded this year. You know, they came up against the number 2 seeded Hartville team, lost by 11, played a pretty good game. Hartville's a really good team, and you know, just missed opportunities, but came back the next night, played Spokane, won that game 69-64. And I tell you, the one person I really wanted to say something about was Riley Shriver. You know, he's kind of one of their unsung heroes on the team, but he came in and did a fantastic defensive job when they really needed some stops. And I was really impressed with what Riley did, and yeah, he's just a really great defensive effort. The next night they played Hollister, and Kempson won that game 68-50, but it was a lot closer than what you would think. And Brady Kemp had just a career night. It was unbelievable. He had 1 3 in the first quarter, and it was kind of back and forth with Hollister, and then he went off in the second quarter. Had 5 threes. I think he had 4 in a row. And the fans were going crazy. It was a lot of fun to watch him. I think he had 22 points at halftime. But what was really impressive about Brady was his ability to take the ball inside. They came out, they guarded him out by the 3 in the second half, and he took him to the hole. He got to the free throw line, ended up with 36 points. The high in the tournament was 38. And so I was kind of hoping Coach was going to keep him in the last minute or so and let him try to go for that record, but I'm not sure anybody knew exactly how many points he had. But just a tremendous effort, and they ended up falling in the consolation championship to Willard. And again, it was one of those nights where turnovers and just couldn't make a shot, you know, and really struggled a little bit. But they had went 2-2 in the tournament, and it was good for them, and to get 4 games, and they're kind of streaky at times. You know, when they're hitting shots, they're pretty good, and you know that you've seen them when they do that, and so it's going to be one of those years where if they're hot, they're going to be tough to beat, and if they're not hitting their shots, they're going to struggle a little bit.
I want to talk, Ron, just a little bit about Brady. You mentioned, how he was hitting the threes in the second quarter, hit 5. And what you like about that is at that level, if you hit threes and the defense starts to guard against that in the second half, which is what it sounds like they did, he took advantage of what they gave him, and he drove to the hole and created opportunities, and that's where you really love, because any kid can get hot and nail some threes, but when they make changes defensively to try to prevent you from having your way, and you capitalize like it sounds like Brady did, that makes you dangerous, and that could do huge things for his confidence moving forward into the second half of the season. Oh
yeah, and he's such a great free throw shooter too. If he can get to the line, that's money. because the kid's got a great shot.
So after the tournament, they're 2-2, so that puts them at 4-6 on the season, because weren't they 2-4 going in?
I believe they're 5-6 now.
So now at 5-6, the guys, floating around that 500 mark, and they're going to play at Parkview Friday. But then next week, Ron, you got some home cooking.
We do. We're home Tuesday with Glendale, and then on Friday we have Joplin at home. So it'd really be nice to see a lot of support for the Laker boys come out, watch those home games, and support these guys because they're working really hard.
And seem to be having some success. 2-2 at that tournament is not a bad result down there with some of those teams. So at 5-6 now, don't look now. Guys can string off a few wins. They'll be floating above that 500 mark, and you'd love, love, love to be sitting there this time of year. Anyway, we're going to be right back on the Roundball Roundup. We're going to talk about how the women's team did over the break and where they sit. We'll talk about that right after this.
Lake area. You ask for more sports, and Lake TV is delivering. Whether it's Mizzou Network segments, live Sporting Kansas City soccer, live Missouri State Bears basketball, live high school football, and even exclusive sports features and interviews, Lake TV Sports is gearing up to bring you more sports than ever. For all the latest with us on sports, follow Lake TV Sports on Twitter at Twitter handle Lake TV Sports.
The Funky Buffalo Brew House and Trading Company is home to the Roundball Roundup Camdenton Lakers basketball show. And it's home to the Lake's best coffee, scones, and handcrafted sandwiches. Come see what all the talk is about and enjoy the beautiful, tucked away in the woods setting. While deciding from our irresistible lineup of drinks and treats, you'll also notice some of the most breathtaking art from local artists plastered all over our walls. The Funky Buffalo Brew House and Trading Company, taking pride in being much more than your normal coffee shop.
Soccer fans, Lake TV thanks you for tuning in to Lake TV this past MLS season to cheer your Sporting KC squad all the way to the playoffs. As exciting as it was to provide live Sporting KC soccer to you this season, we're even more excited to announce that we'll be bringing you live Sporting KC soccer in HD for the 2016 season. Stay tuned into Lake TV for season updates on Sporting KC. Lake TV congratulates Sporting KC for another U.S. Open Cup championship.
Back here on the Roundball Roundup, and it's time to talk about the girls team down at the Pink and White tournament. Had some success early on, and they beat Willard by a final of 72-28 in the opener in that game. And Kurtz, you said Blair, she led with 15 points in the ball game. Blair Kurtz, that is, and had a good ball game, and they shot over 40% from the field as a team, and so you got to like your effort. And then you turn around and you get a tougher team, Ron. You were talking about the lesson they gave you on Pinkerton, Ohio, and they ended up losing that game?
They did. They lost 61-58. Had a shot at the buzzer to try to tie it. And Pinkerton was really talented. They had two girls at 6'3". They had a little point guard that was a freshman. That was unbelievable. And I mean, she broke our press down, and they got a lot of layups out of it because she handled the ball so well. I got to sit in front of her parents, so I got a lot of insight on her. But she's going to be someone to watch in the future. But Pinkerton coming into the tournament is undefeated, ranked in the state of Ohio, and they're expecting them to compete for a state championship this year. So it was really good that we competed. In fact, we were up 18-10 after the first quarter, and then they started pounding the ball inside to the big girls, and taking advantage of that. But, we were down by 12 or 13 late, fought back. I mean, really showed a lot of guts coming back in that game, and really, the coach really used her timeouts well. She used the clock very well to our advantage. We got some turnovers, converted on some, didn't convert on others, and then again had the last second shot, and unfortunately didn't go in. But Bailey had a great game. She had 27 that game, looked fantastic. But everybody really did. Lissa Ripley was fantastic on the post, especially against girls so much bigger than.
So they had two girls that were 6'3"?
They did, and yeah, they were huge. And then they went to a girl that was 6'1" when one of the girls got in foul trouble. So they were just huge, and they used that to their advantage. And it was a good team. And it really, if you watch anything in the state of Ohio, you'll watch for this team to do well this year.
What's crazy about that ball game is Coach Caffey said as a team they shot 55%. It was just that press. They turned the ball over too much, and they didn't get enough offensive opportunities, and that explains why you shoot 55% and still come up on the losing end. But it was against a good opponent, as you touched on.
It was, and they were quick and had good hands. And, it's one of the quicker teams we've seen this year, other than Skyline. But they came back against Aurora the next game, and won that game. It was a close game, hard-fought there was a lot of fouls called. I think 56 or 58 fouls, something like that, called in the game. So that tends to really slow down and lower the score. But they won 41-38. Got to play Branson in the fifth place game, and ended up, again, one of those games we didn't shoot the ball very well, turned the ball over a little bit, and ended up losing that game, I think, by 12 points. But they went 2-2 in the tournament, and there's some really good teams down there. So a couple Arkansas teams were really good. One of the Arkansas teams won the tournament. So and Kickapoo's got a great team. They're going to be someone to watch for in the conference championships this year.
What a good conference the Ozark Conference is, especially on the women's and men's side. To be honest with you, so many college players came from that Ozark Conference, especially in the area. And what Coach Caffey was very adamant is, they're just turning the ball over. They're getting takeaways. The girls as a team, they're getting takeaways, but then they're turning the ball right back over, and the other team's capitalizing where they're not. And so the biggest thing right now that's preventing them from really taking that next step in her eyes is the turnovers. And
right.
You talked about that, the press having a hard time handling that.
Yeah, and I'm telling you what, our press is stifling at times, and really do a great job, and the energy out there is really high. But again, it's just, at times taking care of the ball, and taking good shots. A lot of times, we get a little bit anxious and not taking a real good shot, and that kind of hurts us at times. But they're going to, they'll learn from that, and they'll grow from that, and they're going to be better for it.
So at 8-3, you and I are both excited about the girls' team. However, we got to find out if head coach Stacey Caffey is at the 8-3 start, and we're going to be able to. We'll talk with Coach Stacey Caffey right here on the set when we come back on the Roundball Roundup after this.
It's time to accelerate. What's Accelerate, you ask? Oh, just the hottest new magazine to hit the Lake area, covering high school sports in Eldon, Osage, Versailles, Camden, and Lebanon, also covering health, wellness, fitness, and nutrition. With 4 seasonal issues every year, pick up the most recent issue at most local retailers or at all covered schools to get expert insight, pictures, feature articles, and much more. Also, download the Accelerate app on your smartphone to get up-to-the-minute scores. So if life is slowing you down, don't live another minute without your copy of Accelerate.
From restoring damage in just one room to an entire building, turn to the cleanup team that's here in your community and here to help at 1-800-SERVE-PRO, like it never even happened.
Lake TV and LakeExpo.com are bringing the community closer together with the Lake of the Ozarks news update, keeping you up to date on recent developments and upcoming events. Watch it every weekday on Lake TV or on the web at MyLakeTV.com.
Hey, we're back on the Roundball Roundup. I'm William Holtz, joined by head women's coach Stacey Caffey. Coach Caffey, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure to be joined by you as always. Real quick, let's touch on over the break. 4 games down at the pink and white tournament, and then you got back on track against Elias. So real quick, give me an overview of those 5 games. Go.
We opened up, we got seeded 7th, and so we opened up with Willard. They're young, they have a lot of youth, but we came out pretty strong in that game, and I think our pressure kind of got to them, and I don't know the score exactly, but it was I think the girls, what do we have, 7, do you have the score?
72-28.
Yeah, 72-28, and it didn't really feel like the score was that way, and the girls, but they continued to play hard the entire time. After that win, we followed through to play Pinkerton, Ohio. They were a huge set to us, and it was a great challenge for the girls. Their starting lineup was big. They started 6-4, 6-3, and 2 6-2s and a 6-1. And I felt like our girls played strong against them. We took great shots, but we just fell short. We lost to them by 3. Had a chance to tie it at the buzzer, but that didn't go in. And then from there we played Aurora, which that game was a odd game itself. There was 56 fouls called in that game.
Wow.
It was just a hard game to get in a rhythm, and we had a lot of girls in foul trouble, and I thought the girls played a different type of game, but played a smart game. Once we got in foul trouble, the girls made the adjustments and did what they did to have to go ahead with the win. So that was a strong win for us, because Aurora is they're a great team. They're scrappy, and I believe their record going into that game was 6-2 as well. So. And then we ended up playing in the consolation against Branson, and I would say that would probably be the first game that we played that I could say we just didn't play well, and we didn't have a good game. We didn't make the smart plays, and we didn't do what it took to win the game. So we fell short to them, and then we went on to, would that be Helias now? Helias, and we had a good game against them, and they're a great team, and they got out and we pressed them, and they were able to break our press pretty easy, but our girls kind of adjusted to that, and then just put a real strong half-court defense out there and was able to continue to put the points on the board. So Sophie Shore, who will be talking to you later, she led us. Rez had 20, she had 19, and she just played a really great game, strong game defensively and offensively. So with our senior leadership, I felt like that's kind of what's carrying us right now, is even if we're not having a good game, even including those seniors, that strong leadership is there, and the girls are keeping their head up. So it's been fun to be a part of. So
yeah, most certainly. And I mean, through 11 games, if I had told you before the season you'd be sitting 8-3, you may have taken that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, 8-3, and now we're to the point now, 11 games in, you really have a good gauge on how this team gels together. I mean, I know they've been together for a while, but this is a new year, a new team, and at 8-3, I mean, you've got to like what you see for the most part. Obviously, maybe cut down on the turnovers. You'd like to see a little bit.
Yeah, that would be my main thing. If I was to pinpoint one thing, what we need to do, it would be take care of the ball and cut down the turnovers. We're causing turnovers, and we just need to execute those, turn those into points, and then and take care of the ball ourselves. So I feel like on our leadership, I've talked about that earlier, but I keep waiting, and I think they'll come to it. They're starting to gel together. It doesn't matter what group of girls we put out there, but they're taking that role. So I think the more the season goes into it, the better we'll be.
And so Thursday night, the 7th, you guys have Central at home.
Yes.
JV and varsity starts at 5:30.
Yes.
Should be a good one. Hopefully get big crowd at home and get another W.
That would be great. That would be wonderful. The W would be absolutely wonderful, but a good crowd and a good support fan would be awesome.
Awesome. Well, Coach Caffey, it's all the time we got for the spotlight with you right now, Coach. Thanks for joining us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on the Roundball Roundup after this.
Hi, I'm Lake TV's Ashley Kyle. Ever wonder who produces so many of the local television commercials you see here on Lake TV? We do. Lake TV's full-service video production department can create commercials like these that can drive potential customers to your store or business. Contact us today and see what Lake TV's commercial production department can do for your business.
The Funky Buffalo Brew House and Trading Company is home to the Roundball Roundup Camdenton Lakers basketball show. And it's home to the Lake's best coffee, scones, and handcrafted sandwiches. Come see what all the talk is about and enjoy the beautiful tucked away in the woods setting. While deciding from our irresistible lineup of drinks and treats, you'll also notice some of the most breathtaking art from local artists plastered all over our walls. The Funky Buffalo Brew House and Trading Company, taking pride in being much more than your normal coffee shop.
And we are back on the Roundball Roundup. It's our player spotlight, and Miss Sophie Shore is joining us. Sophie, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Much better than I deserve. Thanks for asking. If the Shore name sounds familiar to you Camdenton fans, well, maybe it should. The granddaughter of Bob Shore and the daughter of head football coach Jeff Shore. And we were talking a little bit about you get called Jeff's daughter and Bob's granddaughter once in a while.
Yes, once in a while. Just even when I'm lining up and shaking hands with referees and stuff, they'll come up to me and be like, hey, I knew your dad, or I refereed your dad, and I don't think I'll ever live up to their shoes, but that's okay. I like trying to.
Well, listen to her. She did have 19 points in the most recent ball game against Elias, and she comes in on the season averaging 7 points and 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 assists. So she's definitely doing her part to live up to the Shore legacy. Talk about the season so far. 8-3, girls are playing really well.
Yeah, we're just having a really fun time. We've played together as the seniors since 2nd grade. So it's just kind of been a dream to go out in style your senior year, and we've got to accomplish a district championship and a conference championship. And I kind of tell the story of when we were like in 6th grade, our girls played Jeff City at home for the district championship, and that was like the first time in my whole growing up here that they played for a championship. And I remember all of us girls were sitting together, and I looked at my mom and I was like, we're gonna win this in a packed house one day, and we ended up winning against Jefferson City to get to the championship. So it was just really cool how like that worked out, and it's been pretty awesome.
And we expect you girls to repeat that.
Yeah, we do too. We like
Again?
that a lot.
All right, so let's let them know a little bit about who you are. I'm going to ask you some questions I ask your teammates, and then we're just going to run through them real quick. So first thing, favorite food.
Favorite food? Gosh, I really like salmon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big salad eater. I just like the taste of salad. Like, it's not really a health thing. And I really like fettuccine Alfredo. It's kind of a classic.
Definitely.
So.
Good choices. Like them both. Okay, favorite TV show.
Vikings. The Vikings.
Never seen it.
Never seen the Vikings on History Channel. The cinematography is really awesome, and I actually started braiding my hair, so because that's what one of like the Lagarthia, like the female Vikings, does, and because I kind of went through a really rough spurt at the beginning of the season, just having trouble with confidence and stuff like that, you know, shooter slump, and my mom and dad were like, well, maybe if you braid your hair like Lagarthia, and it's helped, so I just keep braiding my hair.
So the Vikings, I might have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
Okay, favorite actor or actress.
Mel Gibson, before he started like doing all the crazy stuff, like hurting his wife. Like, I liked him as the Patriot in Braveheart. So he's probably my favorite actor. I don't know about actress, though.
That's okay. Mel Gibson's a great choice, and those are both classics. So you're going to Evangel on a scholarship, play basketball. What's your major, and what do you want to do?
I want to major in political communications and Bible studies. That's just something that I've always been really interested in politics since like a really young age. Like, I was the weird kid in kindergarten who was like, did you hear about, you know, like Osama bin Laden, what's going on? And I don't know, that's kind of always been a passion of mine. And then the Lord, like, that's a huge part of my life. And I like to go on mission trips. And I don't know, start my own women's ministry maybe. So, and then I want to go to law school after that. So there's a lot of things I want to do.
You got to get busy.
Yeah.
You got tons of things you got to accomplish. Very good. Well, Sophie, hey, we certainly appreciate you coming on. It's been good getting to talk to you. We'll be following you girls the rest of the way, and expectations are extremely high, and we don't think you're going to disappoint.
No, I hope we won't. I hope we won't. So.
All right, Sophie, well, that's going to wrap up our player spotlight here on the Roundball Roundup, and we will watch you Thursday night at home against Central.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right back on the Roundball Roundup after this. Lake area. You asked for more sports, and Lake TV is delivering. Whether it's Mizzou Network segments, live Sporting Kansas City soccer, live Missouri State Bears basketball, live high school football, and even exclusive sports features and interviews, Lake TV Sports is gearing up to bring you more sports than ever. For all the latest with us on sports, follow Lake TV Sports on Twitter at Twitter handle Lake TV Sports.
From residential to commercial, from large loss to emergency response. Whenever damage strikes, call on the cleanup team that's faster to any size disaster at 1-800-SERVE-PRO, like it never even happened.
It's time to accelerate. What's Accelerate, you ask? Oh, just the hottest new magazine to hit the Lake area, covering high school sports in Eldon, Osage, Versailles, Camden, and Lebanon, also covering health, wellness, fitness, and nutrition. With 4 seasonal issues every year, pick up the most recent issue at most local retailers or at all covered schools to get expert insight, pictures, feature articles, and much more. Also, download the Accelerate app on your smartphone to get up-to-the-minute scores. So if life is slowing you down, don't live another minute without your copy of Accelerate. Back here on the Roundball Roundup, and it's our sponsor spotlight segment, and we have the honor of being joined by Jessica Steinbach with Serve Pro Lake of the Ozarks Restoration. And Jess, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, and while you're here, go ahead and tell us exactly what Serve Pro specializes in.
Sure. Serve Pro, we are a fire and water restoration company, which means that if you have a fire in your home or water damage in your home, we come and do any demo that's necessary, dry it out, clean it, deodorize it. We also specialize in mold remediation, so if you have mold in your home, we can remove that and get your home back to a safe living condition.
You said water damage, and I would assume that means flooding?
Yes.
So you guys have probably been rather busy as of late.
Yes. It was the Saturday that it didn't stop raining. About 2 o'clock in the morning is when my phone started ringing. I actually had a woman call me and ask us to come get the lake out of her house. Very early in the morning, and so I instructed her that she'd call the fire department and have them come rescue her. Unfortunately, when the lake is in your home, we can't do a whole lot until the lake starts to recede down. And some people didn't quite understand that. I can't suck out 4 feet of water until the lake goes down. But yes, we've been extremely busy. The phone has not stopped ringing. It's very heartbreaking.
Yeah, you talked about before we came on, some of the stories you've encountered, and maybe real quickly talk about a couple of maybe the devastating, stories you've run across, or maybe some of the families that have really run into some problems.
We, in our line of work, nobody ever wants to call us, and we hope that they're happy that they did once they have. We make a lot of new friends. We've met some wonderful, wonderful families through this devastation. I've sat and cried with numerous of them. A lot of these people had flood insurance, some do not. We are working with one elderly couple right now that is having some medical issues. They do not have flood insurance and on a very tight fixed income. So we're trying to help them as much as we can. The crews are working probably till 10, 11 o'clock every single night. They haven't had a day off. I have an outstanding crew. The majority of all of our crew have been with us several years. They know that when we get busy like this, the rest of their lives are on hold, and they are completely dedicated and just working their rears off, and we couldn't be more appreciative for them.
Well, that's awesome, and business is good because the flooding, so obviously water damage is one of the big things you guys do, but maybe give us something that's not as a usual as far as something that may happen to someone's home or property where you guys can come in and help them out.
Typically we do mainly fire, water, and mold. We also take care of biohazard cleanup, crime scene cleanup. So we have done vandalism. When people's homes get broken into and people just run amok throughout their whole house, we go and we clean that up and sanitize it. Removal of fingerprint dust. You've got to be really careful and do it the right way, otherwise you can actually damage the furniture.
Right. Okay, so Serve Pro as a company here at Lake of the Ozarks,
Yes.
Talk about how big you guys are, how many men or women are part of your crew, and how many are in the office.
We have 4 in the office, 1 in the warehouse cleaning customers' contents, because when we have to pack out from a fire or water damage, we bring their personal belongings to our warehouse and clean and sanitize and deodorize them there. I have normally 4 full-time in the field. When we get really busy, we do have others that we bring on. If we have a large catastrophe, I actually have a disaster relief team that I can call in that brings the big, huge semis. We actually had them in 2 months ago at a resort they were helping us out with. So that was nice. It's because we're a franchise, we are individually owned and operated, but since we're a franchise, I have the means to bring in a large group of people.
Large group of people. Fantastic. Well, this is going to be it for the sponsor spotlight segment here on the show. But check out the Lake TV Facebook page, because we're going to have a Lake Extra segment with Jess from Serve Pro, and she's going to tell you, if you've been affected by the flood, what steps to take and what's the best route to go as far as restoring your home. And Jessica, certainly thank you for for joining us. And real quick, tell them the number, or they can contact Serve Pro Lake of the Ozarks.
Our office is 573-346-7200. Go Lakers.
Fantastic. Big Lakers fan. Jessica, thank you so much.
you.
We'll be right back on the Roundball Roundup after this.
Lake TV and LakeExpo.com are bringing the community closer together with the Lake of the Ozarks news update, keeping you up to date on recent developments and upcoming events. Watch it every weekday on Lake TV or on the web at mylaketv.com.
From restoring damage in just one room to an entire building, turn to the cleanup team that's here in your community and here to help at 1-800-SERVE-PRO, like it never even happened.
And that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Roundball Roundup here from the Funky Buffalo. Don't miss next week's episode, 12:30 on Thursday for Ron Dugan. I'm William Holtz, and we'll catch you next week.
Lake TV Sports thanks you for watching this edition of Roundball Roundup from the Funky Buffalo. Watch for a brand new edition next Thursday at 12:30 on the Lake TV network.
Camdenton Laker fans, want to catch the latest highlights, updates, and analysis on your Lakers men's and women's basketball teams? You want to watch exclusive coaches and player interviews? Then tune in to Lake TV and join me and Ron Dugan for the Roundball Roundup every day at 12:30 and 6 p.m. for an action-packed 30 minutes of nothing but Lakers basketball. And if you can't catch the show on TV, just email me at the email address on your screen with a subject line of Roundball Roundup email list, and I'll personally email you the newest episode every Thursday afternoon.